They're all about who we actually are on the inside. And it's who we are that counts. The stuff that we do, the programs we put on, where we are, whether we're in Romania or Langord or Woodhouse, that stuff can change. But who we are, the things that we value are what make up who we are. And that's the thing that counts, because we want to be authentic people. We want to be an authentic church, to be who we say we are. I don't want us to be a church that's a cake that looks like a watermelon, but on the inside is a cake. I want us to be a church that looks like a church in who we are, and is a church on the inside in who we are. You can get a cake that looks like a roast dinner. You can get a cake that looks like an all-day breakfast. I just think that's kind of gross when you eat it and it's actually a cake, not a sausage. Not that I eat sausages anyway, because they're also gross. But whether we gather together here on a Sunday, the stuff we're doing in the week, it's not like, oh, this is church now, and the rest of the stuff isn't. It's who we are, and you guys know that. And we carry that out into our week, but it's our values that define us, that set the culture and the atmosphere in our gatherings. And I know that it's no surprise to me that the team in Romania, they said, you're the best we've ever had, you're the hardest workers, because that's the culture we carry here. We do things properly, we do things well, we work hard. And it's our values that shape who we are. This week it's been my mum's birthday, 74 years old. So we went for a family jaunt, a family picnic, and my brother was responsible for the cake. He texted me at something like midnight the night before mum's birthday and said, I'm going to sort out the cake. I knew then it was going to be a disaster. Anyway, when we got there, he produces his cake and he says, before I open it, I want to let you know all the things that went wrong with the cake. First of all, we hadn't been shopping. We didn't have enough ingredients, but I'd already started. We didn't have enough butter. I said, well, you could have used oil. He said, that's what I did. Then he said, I didn't have enough mix to make two things, so I had to just make one tin and then slice it really thin. But I took it out of the oven. Oh, no. That was it. He poked it and it made a big bubble and then it went down. Then he took it out of the oven but didn't take it out of the tin for 3 hours. Then it was stuck to the tin. So the bottom was missing. That was stuck to the tin. It was the thinnest cake you've ever seen. He just put a lot of icing on it and hoped for the best. But he made such a song and dance about how horrible it was going to taste. So when we actually had it, it was fine. It was nice. It didn't look the best, but the cake tasted okay. And too many times, churches focus on the outside. What's it going to look like? What kind of a spectacle are we going to put on this week? How good is our, singing going to be? Are our lights going to be on point? And all of those things are great, and we want to have an amazing experience for you here on a Sunday. But the outside isn't the most important thing. It's the inside. It's the taste that counts. And if you can come to this place or meet someone from Now Church and get the taste of the goodness of God and get the atmosphere of heaven and the experience of Jesus, that's what matters. Not the performance, not the production, none of that stuff. That doesn't mean that we're all dirty and we don't clean the floor and we don't make any effort in our worship or in our preparations for what we're doing. But it means it's the inside that counts, and that comes from what we value most and what we put in our hearts first. See, we can have great vision of all the things God wants to do through us and vision of where we're going to be in 5 years and 10 years. But if the who we are isn't right, there's kind of no point to it. We've got to know who we are. It doesn't matter if we're in Food Hub or Food Bank or in prayer meeting or out in the school playground or at work. Who are we? That's what counts. And at Now Church, we have a few values that we try and carry through in all that we do. And we're going to look at them over the next few weeks, and I'm sure lots of you are aware of them, even if you can't quite remember the words for them, because we put them into practice. We are devoted disciples. We're scattered servants, courageous givers, fully alive and forever family. And that's the kind of church we are, and we don't make any apologies for that. There are all kinds of different churches, and we might not be the right church for you, and that's fine. We're not the best church. We're not the perfect church. We're not the best church in Worksop or the best church in Sheffield or the biggest church or the cleverest church or the church with the most people, church with the most money, church with the nicest carpet. Obviously, we are not. Church with the best chairs. Also not. But we're Now Church. This is who we are, and the culture we carry is this. We're devoted disciples, passionate about Jesus and developing a closer walk with him. We're scattered servants, meeting with God, yes, in our gatherings, but also throughout our week, making a difference in the places God has positioned us. We're fully alive, enjoying the life God has given us, laughing in church. That's okay. Telling jokes, I don't mean to tell, but it's fine. We're courageous givers. And if we haven't seen the evidence of that in the house that's been built this week, I don't know where else we'll see it. We give boldly. We give in faith. We go beyond. And we're forever family. We're not a club you sign up to. We're not a church you go to so you can get your child christened or into the best school. We're a family, not a community group. A family where everyone is valued and everyone has a place. And I think the songs we've sung today speak to us a lot about that value, that we're children of God, we're adopted into his family, his blood flows through our veins. And we want to have that feel at Now Church, that actually this isn't a concert that you're getting a ticket to. It's not a club that you've joined that you can go when you feel like it and not when you don't. It's a family where every person is valued and every person matters. So over the next few weeks, we're going to look at each one of these in more detail. And today, I'm going to pick up on Forever Family and just talk about that for a few moments. We don't have as long today, so you don't have to listen to me for ages, so that's good. Let me read to you from Ephesians chapter 2. Consequently, you are no longer foreigners and strangers, but citizens with God's people, members of his household, built on the foundation of the apostles and prophets, with Christ Jesus himself as the cornerstone. In him the whole building is joined together and rises to become a holy temple in the Lord. And in him you too are being built together to become a dwelling in which God lives by his Spirit. See, we are a family. Jesus is joining us together by his Spirit. He is the head and the cornerstone. Now Church is a registered charity with all that entails. You can look us up on Charity Commission. You can see our accounts. You can see our board of directors, our trustees. We operate as a community centre, community space during the week, and lots of people in the village and surrounding areas come here and see this as their home, their place for playgroup or cafe or food hub or whatever it is. And of course, this building is also a church building where people can get married and do other churchy stuff, and where we can come on a Sunday and worship God together. But each one of us individually and together, we make the family of God. And that's the most important thing. Not at the expense of the other stuff. Of course, we want to cross the T's and dot the I's in terms of being a legally registered charity. Of course, we want to be a community centre and a space where people feel at home. But first and foremost, we're not growing a charity or building an organisation. We're growing a family, something organic, something that each one of us can be grafted into, can choose to be a part of us. So it's one of our values to remember, actually, whilst business models are good and can help us get things off the ground, whilst having a charity number and applying for funding and being a charity is good and helps us do stuff and be active in our community, the most important thing that we are is a family, God's family. We're not just a social club, we're not just a community centre, we're not just a board of trustees and a leadership team. Adopted children, sons of God, heirs to his kingdom. We're not giving our time and our money and our efforts just to build an organisation. When we give our finance, we're not just donating to a charity. We're giving to God's kingdom. We're building God's house, God's throne in this area. And we're doing it. Why? Because we're part of Jesus' family. And I know not everyone has had perhaps a good example or a good experience of an earthly family and what that word family means. Maybe the perfect example we've got is the trip these guys have just been on to Romania, where people have been rescued, children have been rescued from awful situations and put into a family that isn't born of blood, but is born of people making a decision to live God's way and say, I'm going to sacrifice to be a mum and dad to these children that aren't my own and be part of this incredible children's village. And you know, that's what God has done for each one of us. Whatever our own experience of family is, our earthly family, God has chosen each one of us, adopted into his family, so his blood flows through our veins. So whether family brings up bad feelings for you, I want you to know the kind of family God is creating isn't like that, because he has a perfect father, a perfect cornerstone, and by the help of God's Spirit, he's bringing each one of us together into that family. Those of you who are part of a family, you know that normal families are not perfect. We all have difficulties in relationships with our family, but actually in God's family, God is helping us to become that family where he is the head. And so I want you to know that we're not perfect. We're not a perfect family. We're a normal family, probably like yours. We've got the odd weirdo. We've got people who upset and offend each other. We've got people who do things in different ways. Yvette comes with her family and puts the chairs out every week. Marcus comes every Sunday and rearranges the chairs and upsets Yvette. But Yvette doesn't get offended, even though it's been going on for 3 years. We're that kind of family. But let me share with you this morning just a few things that we mean by that word family and what it means to be part of this family. Number one is that we celebrate. We celebrate each other in this family. We don't talk badly about one another. We don't look down on certain people. We don't have some kind of hierarchy where other people are more important or more chosen or more special. Everyone is valuable. We celebrate everyone. We do life together. When we send the kids out, we try to make it a celebration, not because they're going out, although I do have a minor celebration in my heart, but because they're part of our church family. And so we don't want to be like, shh, go on, kids, naff off, go on, upstairs, go to your program. We want to say, hey, you're going to your program. It's just as important as what we're doing down here. It's made especially for you. Have a great time, because we celebrate. We celebrate the team who've been to Romania. We didn't all get to go. Some of us had to stay at home and raise 3 children on our own. It wasn't me, but yeah. But we celebrate together. So we celebrate each other, but also we share the difficult times together. We carry one another. And people in our family go through heartbreak and go through loss and go through difficult times and struggles. And some of you can't be a part of this, but ladies, we have a lovely group chat where people can share their prayer requests and ask for help. And the ladies in this church are really, really good at carrying you. So if you're going through a hard time, let someone know. Join our chat group. Make sure you've got someone's number, because we want to carry one another. We do that in our earthly families. Many of you will have experience when your parents get older. If you have to drop stuff and help them, you do. If someone is sick in your family, you rearrange to be able to be there for them, to make the things happen that need to happen in your family. In 1 Corinthians 12, it says, when one part is hurting, we all hurt, so that all members care for one another. If one part suffers, all the parts suffer with it. If one part is honored, all the parts are glad. All of you together are Christ's body, and each of you is a part of it. So when we say we're forever family, we mean we celebrate one another. We mean we carry one another. It also means we communicate. We communicate. I don't know how things are in your family. Put your hand up if you've got like a family WhatsApp group. Anyone? Family, like Facebook chat? Yeah, I've got one. Anyone else got it on mute? No, I'm joking. But if you're part of a family, it's important you communicate. You call once in a while. You maybe FaceTime. You maybe visit. I've been visiting my parents this week, and they've got bad communication because my dad has no clue how to use his iPhone. Literally, he can only reply to texts if he's looking at his phone when he gets the text. So we told him, Dad, we're heading to this certain place on the seafront. Come and meet us when you're ready. He never came. We eventually went home. My dad's at home. I came to this beach. I couldn't find you anywhere. I walked left. I walked right. I walked up and down for an hour, and I couldn't find you anywhere. I'm like, well, Dad, did you bring your phone? No. Did you check your phone? Because we text you our precise location. I checked my phone. I didn't have any texts. Opens his phone. 12 unread texts. Been there for months. All from the NHS telling him to go for a COVID jab, and other ones about scams. You've won 10K and all of that. Communication issues in the family. But obviously, the bigger your family gets, the better communication systems you need. My mum is one of 9 children. On her side of the family, we have a family database for all the cousins, so you can find out where everyone lives and their contact details, because there's that many of us. But in church, we have a communication system. We use Telegram for our group chats. We use Church Suite. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, let someone know who you've recognized from up here or at the door wearing a Now Church t-shirt at the cafe. Say, I want to be a part of that. I want to get your communication. We send you 1 email a week, sometimes more. But if you want to be part of this family, say, I want to be part of it. I need the communication. I need to know what's going on. Don't be like my dad, lost on the beach for an hour. So we celebrate, we carry, we communicate, we contribute. Lots of you, I'm sure, are signed up members of various things, such as the gym. And you can be a member of somewhere and never go. You can have all the gear and no idea. You can have the card in your wallet and the complimentary water bottle in your bag that you flash around as if you go to the gym, but you can actually never go. You can get all the emails and the communication and still not show up. And so at Now Church, we don't have some kind of official membership, no sign on the dotted line to say I'm in or I'm out, no paperwork, no forms. But we do say if you want to be part of the family at Now Church, you show up, you give, you contribute, you make yourself a part of the family. The reason is we have no interest in a big long list of names saying, oh, all these people are members of our amazing church. But they only come for the AGM once a year. But we do have a big interest in people making themselves part of the family by showing up, by doing, by giving, by contributing. We're forever family. And in a family, you don't sign up to a contract, you don't pay an annual membership, but you do play your part. If in your family all you do is eat, but never cook, never wash up, never empty the dishwasher or the bins, never do the shopping, or never earn any money to pay for the food, then you are a child. You're a child, you're a toddler, you're a baby. And too many Christians are stuck in that baby stage, coming along, sitting down, wanting to be fed, enjoy the coffee, enjoy some nice songs, have their ears tickled. That doesn't very often happen when I'm up here. They want to go home and over Sunday lunch talk about whether it was a good enough Sunday or not, or what went wrong with it, whether the lights were too bright, the music was too loud, the person on keyboard kept playing the wrong note, drums were out of time, everybody, nobody spoke to me, or I didn't like the way things were, or I did or I didn't. And if all their boxes aren't ticked, then they go to another church to consume some more and maybe find a better one and live life like that. Lots of Christians do that. But in a family, that's not how things work. In a family, as you grow up, you take on responsibility and you start to contribute, not just consume. And if something doesn't go your way, if you don't like what's for dinner that night, you don't just sack off your family and go and find a better one. Mine have stuck with me through all kinds of cooking mishaps. You suck it up, or even better, you offer to cook dinner again the next day. See, the family Jesus is building in his church is one where everyone is loved, everyone is valued, not because of what they contribute, but because of who they are. And because we're in that place of being accepted and chosen and not forsaken, it means we're perfectly positioned to be able to give what we have. And you might think it's very little, or you're not very good at anything, or you don't have any spare time or any spare money. But each one of us has something we can contribute to this family. Everyone has something to give, whether it's time, money, serving in a team, making the effort to connect with someone after the gathering, using your initiative, not relying on the pastor to do everything. That won't get you very far. We recognize we're part of one body, one family, and it takes all of us to make that family work. For just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members don't all have the same function, so in Christ, we, though many, form one body. Each member belongs to all the others. We have different gifts according to the grace given to us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophesy in accordance with your faith. If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to lead, do it diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it cheerfully. And Anki shared on this last week when she was talking about the stories Jesus told. What can you bring? What is in your hands that God has given you that you can bring to this family? And I'm sure, well, I know from my husband, Marcus, those guys who went out to Romania last week didn't really know in their hand were the tools to build a house. Maybe Nathan thought, because I think he looked on the video like he was pretty confident. But Amber, my kids were like, did Amber really build a house or just take photos? I was like... But they gave what they could. They gave their money, they gave their time, they showed up, and they were able to do something that the people over there said, hey, this is a miracle. And that's what God can do when we give what we have. So in our family, we celebrate each other. We carry one another. We communicate with each other. We contribute to the family. And we commit. We commit to this family. When you're born into a family or when you're adopted into a family, it's a commitment for life. The same name, the same blood, that choice to be a family. When you make a family, maybe you get married and you start a family, it's born out of a place of commitment. When you decide we're going to have a child, it should be born out of a place of commitment to that child. You can't just get rid of them or decide not to parent them for a few days, as much as you might wish to have a holiday from them. Obviously, I'm talking about family here as God intends it, and I know you might not have had that experience of family commitment, but in God's family, God's commitment goes deeper than that. He's not going to give up on you for a few days and have a few days off where he's out of reach. He's not going to abandon you because of your bad behavior. He's not going to give up on you and trade to a different, better child. God has that commitment to each one of us to being part of his family. And when we commit to following Jesus, it's not just a personal choice to say, right, I'm going to follow Jesus, and then we go off and we do it, and we're his disciple and we're following him. We're actually committing to being part of this amazing family. This family of brothers and sisters, this family of other people who have said, yes, I'm going to follow Jesus. I am a child of God. And if the person next to you today sang, I am a child of God, that means they're your family. We are family. We commit to one another. We commit to loving each other through thick and thin. We commit to encouraging each other. We commit to holding each other to account. We commit to being vulnerable before members of our family. We commit to growing together. We commit to having fun together. It's more than just me, myself, and I saying, yes, I commit to following Jesus. It's, yes, I commit to following Jesus and being part of the church, the incredible family that God is building. So when we head over to Romania, they're not strangers that we're meeting, but family members, part of the incredible church of God. We're privileged to be a part of the church God is building across the world. And the best way to follow Jesus is not on your own, but by saying, I commit to being part of a family. And I've already said we might not be the best church for you. We might not be the family for you, but please find a family. Find a family that can be a church for you and say, I commit to this family. And that means not leaving every time someone says something that you can choose to take offense at. It means committing through the thick and the thin, committing to pushing out of your comfort zone and asking someone to meet for coffee or go for a drink, or texting someone, reaching out, making those connections of communication and saying, I'm not just going to be someone who consumes, who goes on a Sunday and sees if it goes my way or not, but I'm going to choose to commit to be part of this family. So now, church, we are forever family. We celebrate one another. We carry one another through the hard times. We communicate. We speak up. We let someone know if we need help. We let someone know if we need a friend. We let someone know if we need prayer. We make sure we get the church correspondence, the emails, so we know what's happening and so we can be a part of it. We contribute. We don't just show up. We contribute in whatever way we can. And we commit. We commit to one another. Not to be the type of person who throws the baby out with the bathwater and goes to another family every time something's not perfect. But actually, we say we commit to the long haul because this is a family and we are forever family. So we've just got 5 minutes to get together in our little groups, our little families. So I know some of us find this socially awkward, me as well. But this is our family. So we all find our own family socially awkward as well at times. So just suck it up and get on with it, okay? So these are the questions we can talk about. What do you find helpful or encouraging about being part of a church family? What do you find challenging? And how can we make sure our family is functioning well? So we're going to do it for 5-ish minutes. Try to speak to someone you've never spoke to before, or try to speak if you don't normally speak. That's a message to myself. Amen.
Thank you so much for watching The Preach. It has been an amazing morning and we would love to see you in the week at any of our events. So stay up to date on our social media, on our website. Keep checking because we update things all the time. We have so much going on and we'd love to see you there. Have a great week.